So I, as a parliamentarian, garbed in parliamentary privilege, now choose to use this platform that the people have given me to ask the questions that the people want to ask and to give voice to their thoughts, so that this government may know that arresting, attacking, and repressing voices will not hold. So today, I speak of cowardice and courage and of the difference between the two. Of those cowards who hide behind the false bravado of authority, of power, of hate, of bigotry, of untruths, and dare to call it courage. After all, this government has turned propaganda and disinformation into a cottage industry, whose biggest success is the recasting of cowardice as courage. The courage to bring in 3 farm laws when the opposition, farmers across the country, as well as the government's oldest ally, warned it was unacceptable. I wish to remind this government that India, under Prime Minister Lal Bahadur Shastri, committed 3 things to Sant Fateh Singh, the Akali leader. The creation of a Punjabi-speaking state, open-ended public procurement, and an assured return on agricultural produce. These farm laws threaten to snatch away 2 of these guarantees. These laws were arrived at without consensus, tabled without scrutiny, and rammed down this nation's throat with the brute force of the treasury benches. They have firmly established this government's motto of brutality over morality. And everyone else in this country has been portrayed as a coward or a terrorist, from the farmers to the students to the old ladies of Shaheen Bagh. You say you have courage. You claim you have done so many things that no other government before you has done. Yes, that is true. In true fascist fashion, you have made every act of pettiness, of vengeance, of hate, of bigotry a part of your narrative of courage. The reason no one has done it before you is not because no one had the courage, but simply because it was not the right thing to do. Has that thought ever struck you? And India's tragedy today is not just that her government has failed her, but that her other democratic pillars, the media and the judiciary, have failed her too. The judiciary seems to have forgotten the constitutional principle of separation of powers, that parliament and parliament alone can legislate. If something is bad in law, then the courts can strike it down or stay it on grounds of unconstitutionality. But unless it is so, the courts must do nothing. The government alone must face the consequences. If the government has brought in the farm laws which are not acceptable to people, then either the government will repeal the laws, or the courts or the people will vote the government out. We urgently need the sagacity and courage shown by the high courts during the emergency when they delivered ADM Jabalpur and like decisions. The Supreme Court, unfortunately, is failing the common citizen and is being perceived as protecting the privileged and, ironically, only itself. A very large section of the Indian media has plummeted to new depths, both in terms of lack of factual reporting as well as the total absence of journalistic ethics. And yet, even when the bar is so low, the WhatsApp chat leaks detailing correspondence between a large government-leaning media channel and the head of the TV ratings agency expose the utter filth and the crony capitalism that, ironically, this government claimed to be saving us from. What is left of the resilient media is being targeted with the provisions of the UAPA and other draconian laws. You keep taunting the Congress about the emergency, but India today is in a state of undeclared emergency. But the government has miscalculated. There is a fundamental difference between cowardice and courage. The coward is brave only when armed with power and authority. The truly courageous can fight even when unarmed. Do not forget this. Do not forget this when you tell the authorities in Ghaziabad to clear the protest site overnight with the help of the police and the bureaucracy. You are not being courageous. You're a coward wielding power. The truly brave came in droves from villages wielding nothing but the belief that their cause is just. They were propelled by the spontaneous tears of their leader, not by the force of their water cannons. Do not forget this when you block the roads and cut the internet off in 17 of Haryana's districts. You are not being brave. You are a coward wielding power. The state of Haryana gives 10% of India's air force and contributes to 11% of the total strength of the Indian Navy. Its people can neither be termed anti-national, nor terrorists, nor gaddars. Do not forget this. When a peaceful 60-day movement is insidiously hijacked and then you slap FIRs on Punjab's farmers, you are not being courageous. You are a coward wielding power. Bhagal Singh and Jassa Singh Ahluwalia, leading their missiles, captured Delhi way back in 1783 from the Mughals. Their descendants do not lead a lesson in courage from those who captured Delhi only in 2014. Tagore, in his poem Bondi Bir, the Captive Warrior, an ode to Sardar Banda Singh Bahadur, wrote, এসে শেষে একদিন জীবন মৃত্যু পায়ের ভৃত্য চিত্ত ভাবনাহীন এসে শেষে একদিন that momentous day has arrived. In the 125th year of Subhash Chandra Bose's birth, the central government has made every attempt to hijack Netaji's legacy and weave it into their own fake, narrow narrative of courage. But this nation needs to know that Netaji had two clarion calls, both embodiments of his courage and his spirit. One was the salutation, Jai Hind. Today, this government has replaced this national greeting with a narrow religious chant that it uses as a war cry to heckle, to bully, and to always remind the minority about who's in charge. Netaji's second call was Delhi Chalo, Chalo Delhi. This government falls over itself to pay lip service to Netaji. But in truth, you block the borders in Singhu, in Ghazipur, in Tikri with walls and spikes for all those who actually want to come to Delhi to tell you that much like Subhash Chandra Bose, they too will not accept any halfway house. Netaji told us never to lose faith in the destiny of India, and it is not India's destiny to be ruled by cowards. The time has come for us all to show courage.
Please conclude.
गिरते हैं शहसवार मैदान जंग में वो तिफल क्या गिरे जो घुटनों के बल चले. Thank you.